Okay, so here is the layout. So let's check out the first match between Alston Selvaraj and Bishop of Drip. Uh, we have witnessed some very interesting games in the yesterday's match. Okay,
So
so we
for
can see
those who
this is the
don't know,
position.
Bishop of Drip is actually Fazlur.
Okay, so we have Arpan Tiwari as well with us, joining us today for our commentary this time. Okay, so we can see a trade of rooks happening. Okay, so the engine doesn't quite like this move. So Arpan, what do you think was the best move here? Okay, so Bishop of Drift simply hung a rook here, and I think Alston might,
Yeah, I
be
guess.
yeah, as I think Alston might be now be able to see simply a resignation. Okay, so very anticlimactic for Patna region. This match was okay. So it's the second match. Hopefully, Alston be hopefully he will be careful this time. Okay, so interesting. We have a King's Gambit this time. So King's Gambit declined. Okay, so he took in the middle. Bishop c4. Okay, so interestingly, a bishop sacrifice, but Alston didn't take on f7. Hmm. So we can clearly see that white has emerged out around a pawn more and
Yeah, I guess he has
near
still
2 point
advantage.
advantage.
E5 pawn is hanging. I don't
The
know.
e5 pawn is hanging. Yes.
Yeah, but you just have to be a bit careful about your queen.
Hmm.
No,
Okay,
now it's
so
not hanging. Mm.
I think it's a bit slow to play c3 to prepare d4. Uh, you can directly play d3 such that your dark squared
Yeah,
bishop
d3 would have been good.
yeah,
To develop dark square bishop either to g5, something like that.
yeah, pinning the knight.
Mm.
Okay, so it's a check. Clearly, the knight or bishop could block the check. But
Yeah, but now the e4 is hanging, you see.
the e4 has been hanging for quite a while now.
Let's see what they plan to do. I mean, he can go for a trade.
Yeah, I think yeah. So
Yeah, he
knight
goes for a trade.
b takes d2 would be a good move.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Okay, so white is despite the e4 pawn hanging, white is a 3.5 point advantage. A
Yeah,
3.2.
because once you take the d4, na, then the rook can come on the e file. Na.
Yes, that's true. I think that's why the players are I mean Elston was so skeptical about taking on e4. He didn't wanted to lose control of that file. That
Yeah,
file is better be closed.
yeah.
Okay,
See,
so he
now he
took.
can pin the knight now. Also.
Yeah, he can pin the knight by playing queen e3. Queen e3 would be a good move here. 3.4 point advantage for.
Yeah, that's clearly a piece
Okay,
advantage.
so I
No,
think it's
what is he
not a good.
thinking? I guess.
Hmm.
Uh, Bishop e3. Nah, nah. He's just trying to trade. Fazlur is just trying to trade his white knight.
Hmm.
He could have gone for a piece. It was already three.
So I think either queen takes or rook takes. Okay, so
Goes
neither.
for a check,
Uh,
and then I guess rook takes will be next.
yes, the rook takes makes sense actually because if you take with the pawn, you are left with a pawn island, which
Yeah,
can become a target in the future.
yeah. Rook takes makes a lot of sense
Hmm.
here.
Okay, so king back to the f file. So yeah, as we saw, rook takes. So yeah, trade off a knight.
I think so, yeah. That's why Fazlur developed his knight there.
Hmm. Yes.
NC3 was meant to be traded. So the knight is pinned, but you don't want to actually don't want to take that knight.
Okay, so Aston is offering a queen trade, but Bishop of Drips wants a queen trade on his
See,
own terms. Okay, so the
can he take the knight now? Can he take the knight?
he take the knight with what? The rook.
Then yeah, yeah.
Okay, so what about pawn takes f6?
Mm,
I mean, he's already 4 points up. A rook sacrifice might open up the king. Okay, so he
yeah, so he goes for
lost
the
some of his
pawn.
advantage,
And now I
and he
guess.
got all the advantage back again.
Hmm,
Ashton is low on time as well. He have to think quick.
that makes sense. Because you ultimately want to reroute your queen to either f1 or to c4. Alston is just trying to trade, because he's low on time.
Yeah, I think
Even a
rook
draw would be good
takes.
for him because he's already 1-0.
Yes.
Now
Yeah,
I guess rook takes was
yeah.
best
I
here.
was thinking of rook takes. Okay, so this, and you have to give a check
Now
because
you can, now you can win the queen. Arre.
oh
Nah, he could have win the queen.
yes. So
Simple
now
rook
you have to
f7 check
take
was
the
there.
rook.
Yeah, yeah. Now you'll have to take good.
So it's
Oh,
it's
Fazlur's
so it's
advantage is
equal
gone.
now. Actually, it's equal.
Yeah, he missed that,
Hmm.
win winning opportunity. Let's see what he decides to do next. Okay, I'll do for
Okay,
a
so
while, but yes, yeah, it's okay.
uh, it's a tricky position. It got a lot trickier when you go for fancy things rather than okay. So now
Yeah, a
now the
single bad move from white can lead into it.
hmm.
What did he do?
So now you have to prepare bishop c2 such that rook takes h7 could be possible. But now the rook comes alive. Yeah, he played that. Okay, it's easily defended. I think bishop of drip might lose this one if he didn't think carefully because 28 seconds is a it's a low time, but you have a 3.3 plus seconds bonus time as well. So
Yeah,
Alston
yeah.
can make a
I've
comeback at
seen
this point.
Elston's gameplay earlier, and he relies mostly on the increment, so it's not a big
Yes.
deal for him.
Yeah,
But
and we can see the time is getting equal as well.
yeah, let's
So
see how Fazler pulls this off.
yeah, so I mean, Alston is defending solidly here. He knows that he got some of his advantage back. He was losing at first, but not now. Okay, so the queen is incoming. The queen is coming for the attack as well. You have to you have to actually defend the a2 pawn. You okay? He didn't defend the a2 pawn, but now you have to trade your queen. Okay, so he quickly trades his queen, and surprisingly, the position is still equal. Uh, Surprising, the position is still equal because if he takes the h7 pawn, the white rook can take the c6 pawn. But as he defended the pawn instead of taking it, it's still a relatively equal position. Okay, so now we are in a time crunch, and we can see bishop of drip low on time. Okay, so I think black is not taking that pawn because it's not an immediate threat to take that pawn. You can easily reside beside it using it as an umbrella pawn. Okay, so now we can see the back and forth shuffling of pieces. The eval bar is going to be crazy in these times, going up and down. Okay, so he traded. Okay, so now as Bishop of Drip is winning. Okay, you should not have. Okay, the rook cannot simply prevent all the pawns from promotion. See, the endgame is so wild at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot just have a rook against all the three pawns as well as the bishop. And
Yeah,
you know, the pawn might be promoting on a light square, and you have a light square bishop. That is very good.
yeah, and not just that. Why didn't he take on c4? Your king was free to take on c4, but it's still an 11-point
Once,
advantage now.
uh,
I mean, Alston messed up. Okay, so he resigned. So it's a 1-1 position. Uh, Mumbai is winning. Bishop of
yeah,
Drip.
let's see if we can get hold on Rohit's match in Lucknow.
Okay, let me check. Uh, Rohit is. I mean, it's not in the username actually.
Let's have a look at Amar's match, Road to Title Tuesday.
Okay, okay. Let's check his match. Oh, it's not his match actually. Let me. You know, it's a little. The chess.com UI is a little glitchy actually at this point. And yeah, okay. So okay, let's go forward for this. So he played a king's pawn opening. Uh, so it's a Scandinavian defense. Okay, so it's a Scandinavian defense modern variation where you put the
Yeah,
knight on f6 instead of taking with the queen and giving white an advantage of
it is
taking
one of my
back with the.
favorite openings. As a black, you destroy every plan that white has.
Yeah, I mean, if you as long.
If white wants to play a Vienna, you don't let them play Vienna. White wants to go for King's Gambit, you just say, hey, come take my pawn. So he's almost no. So the main moves here are, actually it is c6 or e6.
Okay,
You just want to develop your knight or bishop here.
yeah. So we can clearly see that uh, sorry, I cut off. Actually, we can see that black is clearly knows his theory about this opening, and white is just playing as he sees the move. He hasn't actually practiced with the moves.
Yeah, I mean, modern Scandi is something that you need to know for more.
Yeah, you don't actually see it very much, at his level, and he's playing it as a 1700. Okay, so okay, so he is not scared at all to by pushing all the pawn on his king side. I don't think so that he wants to castle at all, but he has to castle there. And I think these pawn might be very scary for him because you have already pushed yours. The king has to be safe,
Yeah,
and
I
these
guess
pawns
the queen is
protect the.
also eyeing on the g3 pawn,
Hmm.
plus the knight is ready to jump into attack. So this
Yeah.
might be a bit difficult for him.
Hmm. Okay, so this was the move. Yeah, see, but now you lost all the pawns. Okay, so the knight jumped on an outpost, but this knight might be able to kick it out. You played this. Okay, it's a good move. You have to defend your king at this point. So he took with the knight. He took the knight. I mean, You don't have to. You have all these rooks. You should use them. Okay, but he wanted to make a mating net here because the king was going to escape from this, but now he has a mating point. So if white is not careful, he can get mated. But okay, so in an attempt to save his king, he blundered even further. Okay, so not an accurate move at all.
I guess
Okay,
Rook
and
H1
so
should have
yeah,
come
he
earlier.
yeah. Okay, so he lost his queen. So now it's okay. So see, at this point you're not careful because in chess not only the material count that matters. Your king's safety is also a point to talk about. And at this point we can see that despite him being a queen down, the material is equal, and as well as the black king is not safe as the white king is. So we can see the engine recommending that it's a equal position. Okay, so white lost bunch of black lost bunch of pawns. Okay, so check, another check. Okay, so series of checks. Okay, so hmm, he should have taken that pawn. Oh, he can't take that pawn. Now, see, I also have a blind spot for these long diagonals. Okay, so the defense is pretty solid.
Yeah, I
White has
guess
a good.
it's pretty difficult for Black to stop all the pawns from promoting as well as protect his pawns. So
Hmm.
all Black can do is go for a draw at its
Yeah,
best. Let's see if White blunders somewhere.
yeah. Okay, so it's
Yeah, it's a
a draw
perpetual
by
draw.
repetition, but black is not happy with the draw. Because actually he was winning at first, so it's very frustrating to settle with a draw when you
Yeah.
have a 200 point advantage.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's why he played like that. Okay, at this point the engine showed. Why is the engine showing this much advantage? Can you venture a guess?
I guess Queen H2 might be a good check, but what after that?
Oh no, it's an advantage for white actually. So
Uh,
king h2 would be a black's move.
okay, so RC3, I guess, because
rc3, let's play rc3. Yeah, rc3 is the move actually. So
then you force the king to move away and you can push the pawn. C pawn
yeah.
is now
So if
kind of
if the king,
unstoppable.
yeah. So if the kings goes there, it's even worse, and you can actually no, you cannot. So you have to move the king actually first.
Yeah,
So
you'll have to
if he
move the
moves,
king and then
hmm,
C pawn becomes unstoppable then.
yeah. See, so okay, that's why. So let's see. So again, we can see some series of checks. Okay, so another check.
Yeah,
So
the
you
guy
have
war
to,
is going crazier
yeah,
than the previous match we saw.
yeah, yeah. So I think no more checks now.
I don't know what is black up to. I guess.
Oh,
Oh, so
oh,
they had a perpetual draw.
they repeated, and I don't think so. I think
I
why,
think it's good for black, if he had a
yeah.
perpetual draw. I mean, the way he lost in the middle game, he had a queen, I
Mhm.
guess he traded two rooks for a queen. At that point, it was all good for black, but later at some point, black was not able to stop the pawns the white had, and white was gobbling all the pawns of black. So
Hmm.
that's where I guess.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
think
anyways, It's good for
Yeah,
black.
I think White, didn't actually know he was winning because you don't have the eval bar during the game. You are just, he's already nervous that he's 200 points down. Okay, so we can see
Yeah.
that Mumbai region has won fair and square, like 5.5 to 1.5, and the draw was just what we witnessed at this point. So we can just check. So, do you want to check another game or go to another region?
Okay, let's check the other regions.
Okay, so I think let's check
I
this one.
guess the agents match is still going on
Okay, so
in Lucknow
yeah,
region.
it just finished. So let's check the lowest rated game. Okay, so it's a big game, so we have to go through it quickly. Uh, so it's a D for Queen's Pawn opening from White. Okay,
Mm.
so Bishop F4. He is going for an accelerated London. Queen's Pawn. So it's an opening I haven't heard of. Okay, so he's clearly planning this battery so that he can trade it here in the future.
Yeah, that's kind of a
Good
new
trading.
idea against King's Indian. I've seen it
Yeah.
quite often.
Hmm. Okay, so it's an
They
inaccuracy by
don't
Black.
want that. So,
Yeah,
uh,
it's an inaccuracy by Black because you should strike in the center and play
yeah,
something
you
else.
should not allow black to play e4. Sorry, white to play e4.
Yeah, actually
Black
now
should
because
probably go for d6 or something.
yeah, so now if king takes, simply white gets all the center space.
Hmm.
So it's too late now. You
Now you strike the center. I mean, what is this? I mean, d5 here is very good for white.
yeah, he
You'll have to
closed.
retreat and so he closes the center now.
Yeah, but the engines somehow doesn't quite like it. Uh,
Probably engine was up for a trade. I guess.
Trading like this. No,
Uh,
the engine doesn't like this as well. Pushing is not good. Trading is not good. I think what kicking the knight back. Yeah, kicking the knight back seems to be the move. I think.
yeah, because then you can win the pawn. No?
Yeah, then you can. Can you win the pawn? Yes. Then you can win the pawn actually. Yes. So if you play here, okay. So now you can take okay. So you cannot take that like that. Yes. So that's why he should. But he closed the position. He thought it might be a good move.
Yeah, as a human in a blitz game, that is also a good move,
Yeah.
losing position. But see, ultimately, he's giving up the pawn.
Yeah, I mean the knight is not going to do the damage alone. You have to bring out some pieces, some pawns to support the knight as well. Uh,
Knight takes d4 is good for white. Yeah, just take pawn.
yeah,
Knight
and
takes
so now,
d4
so
is
now
good.
he
Queen takes
wins
with
a
a
pawn,
check.
and gets a tempo with it as well.
And then he can easily kick out the knight.
Yeah. Okay, so he got a beautiful pawn chain around here. So I think now it's time to trade his light square bishop since most of his pawns are on light square. Uh,
No, he's
okay,
going
so
for another chase
oh,
the
I
knight.
think he's preparing for queenside
Hmm.
castles. Long castle. Yeah, he's going for the attack on this king. He's not even worried about his king
Actually,
safety. Yeah.
the irony is such type of pawn storm is coming from the black side in King's Indian setup, but you see
Yeah.
white is storming here.
I mean, actually, white is higher rated, and when you're higher rated from your opponent, like in this case, it's nearly 400 points advantage. So you have some other kind of confidence. Like even if you blundered a piece, you will manage to somehow make a draw in this position.
Yeah, you have that mental advantage as well.
Yeah. And I think White knows as well that he has an advantage here. He is a pawn
Hmm.
up, and his structure looks good. He has more space on king side, and he's ready to castle queen side. Yeah, he castle queen
He
side.
did castle queen
Yeah,
and ch5
I
was
mean this
inevitable.
pawn coming up
Bo-
alone is not scary as well because you
Ah,
just have to push and it's all stopped. Let's see. Yeah, he actually pushed. That was his move as well. Okay, so the queen. I mean, it's a good move. The queen has to play
you
attack in this
attack the
position
knight, and now
because
you can take, yeah.
yeah. But the knight and the queen both are defending this pawn. So I think
Hmm.
taking now wasn't a good move. You should either what what what
You
might
could
be
have
the best
pushed now.
move?
You could have gone for h6.
No, it's not a good move according to the engine. Uh, mm,
So if you want to be winning at that stage, um,
I mean, you cannot push this as well because then g4 would be hanging. Can you play like this? Yeah,
if you touch the bishop, then I would say bishop b5 would be good because you target at least the pawn, a4 pawn, the bishop b5.
yeah, like here. Yeah, this is actually the better. I mean, when you have lots going on around, the king side, you actually forget about the queen side. You play on the one side and
Yeah,
the
but Indian likes the theory, develop and then attack pawn, so it's
I
a
mean
good
that's
thing.
the speciality of engine. It can play on multiple sides of the board at the same time. We are just focused on one only one side of the board. Okay, so let me go back. So takes. Okay, so he played here. I think he wants to push the pawn, but he knows that if he push it, it's going to be weak. Yeah, so he another non-committal move really. So it's like see it was just a waste of time, playing here and then
Yeah, yes, he
playing here and
wasted a
then
move
playing here.
here. He
Yeah,
could have pushed the
directly
g
went.
pawn.
Yeah, that was the engine wanted in the first place actually. See, so they
Mm,
all wasted some couple of moves and nothing really changed in this position. Okay, so do you say you have simply
so we
traded
have
the
a
bishop?
trade here, and
Yeah.
I guess queen take c.
Okay, so we saw that they were trading this pawn. They were
Mhm.
targeting this pawn, so he defended it. Yeah. Okay, so apparently the engine has some ideas around here, and this was
Yeah,
not it. And again, the engine
basically you
plummeted
have
back up,
rook d4 now, so that could be
like
a good
here, right?
move. No,
I don't think
it's
so.
just +1 now.
Yeah, it could be. I don't think I don't think I have got like around here again. Yeah, I mean you go back here because the rook is again. So rook will have to go here again, and you just visit you a couple of times, and now you can play
Then
here.
you can go d4. Huh? d4 is
Yeah,
now possible.
I mean it's not the best move; it's the second best move, but it's still better
Yeah, but
this way.
still you'll get a pawn and you'll have the advantage.
Yeah.
And one means two, you might also get the a4 pawn. So
Hmm.
you never know.
Okay, so yeah, he played this move actually. Okay, so the knight drops back.
Mm.
Nah, it's a good move actually. Okay, so you
He can
push.
simply push the
Yeah, you
pawn
can
here.
simply yes. Now these pawns, are acting like a thorn in the position. They have stuck. They are stuck, and the black pieces are hard to move for them. Okay, so a queen trade. No, I mean it is still a queen trade, but it's a queen trade on black stuff. So they traded a queen. The rook is hanging, so the rook will be traded. Yes. Okay, so so clearly white is winning. Clearly white is winning because these three pawns are connected, and one of this is the passed pawn, and these two pawn will be stopped. Okay, so he hung a fork, but see, he's still winning actually because you have this, and even if this the king is early and he will stop h1 promotion. Yeah, see,
Yeah, I mean, these
the
three
king is
pawns are
quick
going to be
actually. I
unstoppable.
mean, the black king has to go here to support the pawn, and the knight has to I mean, knight is not at all capable to stop all these pawns, and that too that when they are connected. Okay, so yeah, simply you just promote. I mean, it's a bit scary, you know. You have to just push all these pawns and okay. So I don't think so. Black should allow the king there. I know he's completely winning, but you know, it's luckily they have some time because you know in such end games. Okay, so uh, I mean, yeah, you see, for some for those who did not see that, he cannot take here because then the pawn promotes. That's why the king has to go here. Okay, so here. Okay, so now it's winning. Yes. Okay, so I mean, it's quite easy for him to win from this position. Yes, that's great. Nice. So it was a good game. Nishant played a good game.
Yeah. So regarding the semi-finals, we
Hmm.
have we had Mumbai against Patna, I guess,
Okay.
and Mumbai won with 6.5 and 1.5 for
1 point.
Patna.
Yeah, so I think it's a 5 point advantage. Well played,
Yeah,
Mumbai.
and regarding the another semi-final match, we had Delhi against Lucknow, where Lucknow won against Delhi with 4.5 and Delhi scoring 3.5.
Oh, so it must have been a close match. I mean,
Yeah, it
uh,
was a close match. Guys, see the first board, it was 2-0 for Delhi,
mhm,
and the second board it was 1.5 and half. But the last two boards were 0-2 and 0-2 for Delhi, so
mhm.
that's where they lost the match.
Yeah, so I think let's check some of the interesting matches there. Actually, when I used to commentate for the Delhi, I mean, not for Delhi, when I commented in the previous round, I actually saw that Delhi was winning quite easily. The margin was very high, but seeing Lucknow defeating Delhi, it's a nice
Yeah,
turnover
that too
actually.
in a
So,
close match. No,
mhm.
the
I
top
mean,
boards performed in
Delhi
Delhi,
it
but
was strong actually.
Mhm. it was looking quite good team.
Hmm.
But
I mean,
now we'll have finals for Team Mumbai versus Team Lucknow.
hmm. Okay, so it's a close match. Yeah, let's check the more highest rated game here. I mean,
Yes,
not that
it's
we will be able to comprehend all the moves they play, but we will we can easily enjoy the game as well.
we'll try our
So
best to.
yes, put our best foot forward and check what we can do. Okay, so it's a modern defense 1d4. So it's a modern defense main line. Yes. I mean, we can expect this much from the 200, 2000 rated players to 2100 actually, that they know their theory well.
Yeah, I guess he wants to translate it into a hedgehog, probably.
Hmm. Okay, so castles. So see, nothing crazy happened in the opening phase. Unlike we saw in the intermediate. In the intermediate games, we can clearly see some pieces hanging and pawn being ignored, all the while tensions in the center. But we have tension here now. But it's a
But that's not a big deal.
hmm,
And actually, mm, nobody would like to trade there, I guess.
yeah.
I
Okay, so
see.
F
Because
five.
trading here won't be good. Huh?
So F
See,
five
that's
and
what I
knight.
was talking about. When you go for such a setup like Hedgehog or King's Indian,
Yeah.
you actually want to push the F pawn. Pawn
Hmm.
storm the opponent on the King's
Hmm.
side. But what we saw was opposite.
Hmm. So, so the white is clearly going for a one mover and going to this square. I think black can
Yeah,
easily
yeah.
prevent this by moving this knight and freeing up the bishop and defending this square because it's if not then this is going to be a fork on the king and the rook. So I think the knight might be moving in the next move. Yeah, simply knight moves there. And see, this is the benefit of pushing the pawn, because you played the knight here, you push the pawn, and then you play your knight behind those pawns. Okay,
Okay,
so
so he's
knight
trying
is
kicking the knight away. Again pushing. See,
oh, so
that's
knight
the
is
idea of kings in game.
yeah. Okay, so I think the engine might want to take with the pawn, right? Yeah, the engine wanted to take with the pawn, but okay, let's see, taking with the
I guess
knight.
knight takes is also good because
Yeah, knight take is
once,
also fine. I mean, it's not at all, it's negligible
yeah,
difference, right?
like if he takes with the f6 knight, then you can trade the bishops first, and then
Yes, yeah, actually. So if he trades like this, you can take the knight with the pawn, and then yeah, you pressure this pawn by the queen, and this bishop is not so good at this point. You have to spend some move to push this bishop out and into the game. You have to spend
yeah.
some
So now
time.
to defend the d5 pawn, you can simply capture the knight on f6,
Hmm.
and that's why the engine is
Yeah,
showing
that's what
fine,
he do.
and that's what
And
you
now
want.
the rook is hanging, and obviously they won't let the rook hang because they are good players. Okay, so
No, but
another.
we did saw one, earlier in Alston's
Yeah,
match.
yeah, that was true. Okay, so the rook is trapped. Anyways, I mean, just when we saw that they won't let the rook through, so the rook got trapped. Okay, so
Commentators curse.
yeah. Okay, so he hung a knight actually. So the
Trapped
rook was
rook,
hanged. So why not
hanging
hang the
knight.
knight
So
as well?
yeah, I see. Probably the time pressure was also there for Rohit. So hey,
I mean, time
you
pressure.
see, his pieces are crammed. No, his queen is completely crammed.
Yeah.
So
And actually, the worst thing is, even after he takes the knight, the rook is still trapped. So you
yeah, the
lost a
rook is
knight
still
and
trapped. So
still
so the
no
knight
condition.
move was, kind of useless.
Yeah.
A better move could have been na3 probably.
Hmm.
Then you can jump your knight to c4.
Yeah. I mean, I think why didn't find hanging his rook enough, so he hanged his knight as well.
Yeah,
Complete.
probably
Yeah, he gave him
trying
the
to be
complete
Mikhail
package.
Tal.
Trap
One
one,
king
get one
steal.
free.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, so yeah, it's a devastating position for white now, and I think like okay, so trading in such a position. So
Okay, so white trades also. I mean, it is astonishing to see.
yeah, okay, so it's a good move. I mean, you clearly block all the line of attack, but simply pushing will
No,
get
that
you.
won't help because you can take for
Okay,
now.
so the queen is trapped
The
as well.
queen is trapped now. Nah, huh? That's what I
Yeah,
was gonna say.
I mean, when you lose your pieces like
So
this,
I
when you
guess he wasn't in the quite in a playing mood. The way he's hanging his pieces and giving
Mhm.
up his queen, and the way he trapped his queen.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's look on to the next match that he played.
Yeah. Also, I want to add that when you hang your pieces in the starting, you lose your composure, and then you keep on making mistakes.
Yeah, that too
It's
in a
not the
blitz
first move
match.
that lose you the game. It's the second move that loses you the game.
Hmm.
And that was the second move. The night he played there, it was his second move, and that lost his game.
Yeah, the
Anyway, so
night he
let's
hung.
check this one.
Okay, so it
Okay,
is
so this is a
agent
good move,
against
good game, I
perfect
guess.
stranger.
Okay, so it's an upset again. It's an upset. It's a game. It's an upset game, but I mean it's clearly an upset because 1600 making a draw against a 2000. It is quite.
Yeah, I've seen agent play bullet. He plays bullet and blitz quite well. So
Okay. So he might. Okay, so we can see he likes
clearly going
his
for a tempo.
London. I mean, good to see London being played on such high level as well. 1600
Yeah, I
ranking.
mean,
I think.
it's very rare to see someone not playing Kings Indian against London.
Yeah. Okay, so nothing to. Okay, so trading the bishop. Nothing to,
All standard theory.
yeah. It looks quite like my games as well. I must have been in this position as well because I too play London, and people, black usually responds with d5, and then similar position happens, and then you push on queen side, make pawn breaks here, double your rook around here, and then go for the, because it nothing is really happening around here. The pawn structure is intact, and you cannot weaken your king here because the queen might, after pushing this. So it looks similar. Okay, so white is, yeah, that's what I said. So this position is completely lodged in. Okay, so see, I mean, why would you even play this? See, shuffling back and forth. I think it was not necessary at all. Okay, so he wants to grab this pawn, which is obviously defended. Okay, so the knight goes back there again. The knight has moved a lot around. The knight is uneasy at this position, so knight will have to go back now again. Yeah, see, the knight has journeyed around the world as well. Okay, so the trade happens, and you have to be careful. This point, the back rank is pretty weak. I mean, you're lucky
Yeah.
that the queen is protecting this, because this left is not useful at all because the knight is there. The knight is lodged there, and it is being pretty useful. Meanwhile, this knight has moved a lot.
Yeah, that night, see, it makes some sense. Bring back your queen,
Yeah,
but I would say you should have moved the king a bit, to prevent the back rank. But yeah, it's still good.
yeah. I mean, you want to protect no b1 square.
Yeah, as well as you want your queen to be free as well at that point.
Yeah, actually. But now this pawn is pretty hard to defend. You have to play queen d2, and if you trade your queen, then the black king is pretty
No,
active.
no, then queen d2 would be losing now. Again, the same back rank idea.
If queen d2 here, it's not losing because the knight protects this square, and you
Acha,
can play.
then knight can
Yeah.
protect.
Okay, so okay, that's nice. So yeah, you have to protect this, and the queen has to play defense, and now it's a draw. You can, yeah, I think at this position any higher rated player would make repetition or draw by agreement, but you don't have the eval bar. Yeah, you trade the pieces. Okay, so the,
Yeah, but it's semis, and you always try to
yeah,
go for a win. So
bringing up the king at this point. Yeah,
but the
you
kings
actually,
can't enter.
yeah, true. Okay,
So we'll
so
have to see who blunders there in pawn moves,
mm,
and it's no one. No one will
yeah,
blunder
I
in
think
pawn
it's
moves.
going. It was going to be a draw. I think, yeah. So it is a draw. Yeah, it's a draw by repetition. Okay, so
Okay,
it's a draw by
so
repetition. They played safely. They didn't made any crazy moves. Nothing really. Okay, so let's see this move. I actually like witnessing the lower rated games. So it's a Rudraksh Gupta versus Czech AJ. So let's see this game. It's a relatively quicker game. So let's see. So King Song E4 E5. Okay. So E4 E5. Okay. So okay. So crazy pawn push. Mate in one. I think it's a glitch somehow.
chess.com is becoming all glitchy.
Yeah, I think it was a glitch actually because I cannot see any mate around. So it's a crazy pawn push. The knight is okay. The knight is there. No one can really do anything about that knight. Okay, so knight is pretty lodged up there, right? He push the c4 pawn. Okay, so yeah, the one disadvantage of pushing this pawn back here is you can no longer kick back this bishop. Okay, so the black had no plans with the light squared bishop. He simply traded it. Okay, so now he is targeting,
I
and you
see
have
one
to,
more trade is coming.
yeah,
That that's what it is in low-rated games. You don't see much tactics.
yeah. You see quick trades, and oh, so yeah, they
There
had they
we
hung
have
a
it.
yeah they hung a skewer, and so the knight is trapped. That too. That this happens as well. This happens a lot actually. You move your knight and then you have no idea where it is going to be
Yeah,
next.
that's why
You
you should
see,
actually calculate it. Either if it's opponent's knight, then you should see where it might hop in, and if it's your knight, then also you should see the two moves at least ahead where you're moving a
yeah.
knight.
I mean, the knight is a very tricky piece. Even for you, you have to handle it really.
Yeah.
But okay, and it's not that you have a time pressure as well. You are not even down a minute actually.
You have
353 and
enough time.
417. Yeah,
You
they're
could have
playing
thought,
relatively quick.
retreated the knight e7, but okay, let's see what happens.
Yeah. So this. Okay, so there was no need of doing this. You could have done, he could have played this. Yeah, and then if
No, then you can take with your knight
this,
as well.
yeah,
So it's
moving the
okay.
queen was not a good move at all. I think he didn't see this, it's a common blind spot, but okay.
Anyways,
It was a desperado move because you're going to lose your knight anyway, so might as well take the pawn along with that.
mm,
Okay, so you can pin the knight here, but see, jumping the knight there and then rerouting it to go to this square. It's a
yeah,
good,
because then you can target a7 pawn, no?
yeah.
Then
Okay, so
freeing up
he
the
hung another skewer.
again.
He hung another skewer. So it's not a skewer, it's a X-ray this time, but okay. See that's a good thing because he knows he don't have to take it immediately. But why didn't he, to take and then take? But okay. Okay, so they hung a rook. Classic hanging of rook back. Okay. Okay. It's a good. Oh, so we have an M on board. So let's see if we can find the M on the board, right? So I think, what do you think would be the best move here? Okay, so it's black's move, and wherever black move, it is going to be a mate fairly quickly. So let's see if white takes here. So it's even poisonous to take the bishop because if you take it here, it's a mate in two. So let's see if you take here. So you Okay, so if you take here, what could be the best move? Uh, this check? No, it's not this check. So this check? No, it's not even a mate anymore. Uh,
I guess na6 check would be good here, no?
and a6 leads to, oh yeah. I
Because
actually played
then
this, and
you
at that point the eval bar was showing m6, so I thought it might not be a good move.
no, but now you cover all the options for king, and he has
Yeah,
only
and
one more
then
knight.
okay, so this actually happened.
Oh,
So all this
so he
happened
did
actually.
find mate in six. Okay.
No, he didn't actually find mate in six. Uh, this happened, and it's mate in six at this point. But it's poisonous to take this bishop because if you take this bishop,
Mm-hmm.
it's mate in two actually.
Then the knight move would be there.
Yeah, then this, and you have no idea. And just see he resigns at this point. So mate in six was at this point. So I think you have to go here. No, it's not. You cannot
And
go
then
deep
it would be
because
mate in one.
yeah, it's a mid-in one. It's a very poisonous position at this point. Anything is so. What you have to? It's
Is
mid-in
the
six. So
best.
so if everyone plays the
The best you can
perfect
do
move,
right now is move your king.
move your king here.
Okay,
Yeah, move
that's
your
the
king.
only spot you have.
Yeah, so it's here, here, and what? Uh, you have to go here. Okay, yes,
Check. Then again, then
here, and then what's
then I guess the
the
knight
knight
check
check
would be
is
there.
yeah, and then
No, the
uh,
knight check was not there.
okay, so the knight check is a wrong move. Okay, so
Mhm.
uh,
Oh, it's simple.
is this the move? Oh, it's not the.
No, no.
I think this
Queen
is the
Queen
move.
e6 would
Oh,
be
it's
open.
not the queen. Queen e6 is not the move actually. I checked it.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the move. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, so you have to force it here, and what's mate in one here? Taking this is not mate in
Yeah.
one because it's here. Uh, this check is not mate in one because of this. So
Mm,
is this mate in one? No, it's not mate in one.
no, it's not mate in one.
Uh,
Okay, so taking with the bishop would be mate in one.
oh wow, nice. Crisscross. It's a
Mm,
crisscross mate. Okay, so pretty interesting games. In both the regions. The semi-final was a very interesting matchup in this,
yeah, and
and
Team
especially
Delhi
the
versus
Delhi and
Lucknow
Lucknow
was,
matches.
yeah, it was very close match.
Hmm.
So
This,
we'll wrap up the stream for now, and we'll be back at 10 with the finals. So
yes.
see you there.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining, and
Thank
do
you very
join
much.
us for the final. And it's going to be really exciting and see who is going to win. Uh, so cross your fingers for all your favorite regions, and let's hope the
Let's stay
deserving
tuned for
wins.
the finals.
Yes.